What's going on, everybody? It's Nick Payne with Facemask Fantasy, and for the duration of the NFL playoffs, I'll be highlighting some news and notes for each matchup in the event you plan to play DFS or any NFL playoff challenges. So far, I've profiled the Saturday games. You can find those videos on our channel. Up today, the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers host the Philadelphia Eagles in the early Sunday matchup. Tampa Bay won the NFC South and is the 2 seed in the NFC. Philly is probably the most unexpected playoff team this year given their 2020 offseason, but they put together a 9-win campaign and got in as the 7 seed. On paper, it appears to be a very favorable matchup for Tampa Bay, but the Eagles boost the best rushing attack in the NFL this season, so they have something to hang their hat on if they want to have any hope of pulling off a massive upset. So who's worth consideration for your lineup if you're planning to play any DFS this weekend? At quarterback, Tom Brady continues to be Tom Brady. He led the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns this year, although he will not have Chris Godwin or Antonio Brown for the playoffs. The Eagles are a middle-of-the-pack fantasy matchup for quarterbacks this year, but Brady obviously presents one of their most difficult challenges of the season. If his price is above the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, or Kyler Murray, that's a bit of a hard sell given the amount of good quarterback options this weekend. Brady's very safe, no doubt, but there might not be as much upside with him down multiple receivers, and unless he falls into the end zone on a quarterback sneak on the goal line, no rushing production is all but assured for him. Speaking of rushing production, Jalen Hurts might present one of the best quarterback values of the wild card slate. He won't be priced as high as the aforementioned names, and while the matchup is not good by the numbers, Hurts and the Eagles are likely to be trailing in this game, which means he has plenty of passing upside in addition to his relatively safe rushing floor. Philly is 7-point underdogs, which means GameScript suggests Hurts will have to do more than usual in this contest. He might be a great value, but obviously his inexperience could get the best of him and prevent him from reaching a ceiling game. Ultimately, it's not the worst risk to take in the world. As for the running backs, again, Philly boasts the best rushing attack in the NFL this year. Tampa Bay has been one of the best defenses against the run, but they've been more susceptible in the second half of the season. Miles Sanders is a very intriguing option who should be a tier cheaper than the top running back plays this weekend. Despite the bad matchup, Sanders should get enough volume to provide a decent play this week. I do like him for DFS lineups. Jordan Howard is a decent contrarian play who could get goal line work, but he's not likely to be worth it if he doesn't fall into the end zone, so there's definite risk. Boston Scott is difficult to trust with Sanders expected back in the mix, but he should see some snaps and touches. For Tampa, Leonard Fournette is being activated off of injured reserve and should resume his RB1 duties for the Bucs. The Eagles can be beaten on the ground, and Fournette is likely to be called upon in the passing game for the duration of the playoffs. His PPR upside make him a very attractive play this week. In fact, I have no problem playing both running backs in this game if you can. Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn go back to change of pace roles and are contrarian long shots that I'll probably pass over. At wide receiver, the best option in this game, of course, is Mike Evans, but the Eagles' defense is at their best against opposing receivers, led by Darius Slay, who has had a phenomenal season. Philly is giving up the second fewest fantasy points to wide receivers this year. As Brady's clear top option at the position, Evans should be force-fed targets. But I'm not expecting a huge game from him having to go up against Slay, who has shut down numerous wide receiver ones this year. I'm calling it now. Avoid Evans in DFS this weekend. Tyler Johnson, Cecil Grayson, the rest of the receivers, they can't be trusted either. For the Eagles, Devontae Smith leads the receiving room as a rookie, and GameScript should be in his favor in this game. If the Eagles are trailing, Smith is going to be more involved. And even if they have a lead, Philly's got to stay aggressive, again, if they want any chance of keeping this game competitive. Similar to Hurts, Smith's inexperience could hurt him in the biggest game of their professional lives so far. But he's in a good spot as long as Hurts doesn't sink, going against a very good Bucs front seven. Jalen Reagor, Quez Watkins, and the rest of the receivers should not be considered, although Watkins has flashed some big playability if you want a long shot swing for the fences play. At tight end, Rob Gronkowski is an elite and obvious option you want in a DFS lineup this week. As good as the Eagles are against receivers, they give up tons of fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Top 5 for the season. I think we could see a 2-touchdown game from Gronk this week as one of Brady's primary options left in the passing game. I like him a lot for DFS. On the other side, Dallas Goedert should be heavily involved with the Eagles as 7-point underdogs. Tampa's a middle-of-the-pack matchup for the season against tight ends, so it's certainly a beatable one. Goddard's, of course, a tier below the top tight end options this weekend, but in a game where the Eagles likely have to throw more than they'd want to, he's in a good spot to deliver a solid performance relative to his cost. All told, I'm intrigued by Hurts at quarterback, although his inexperience could lead to a down performance. Brady should be fine, but might not be a week winner this week. Both Miles Sanders and Leonard Fournette are good options at running back. Avoid Mike Evans, but Rob Gronkowski is in a smash spot. And finally, Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert should deliver some decent plays if the Eagles are trailing in this game as expected. That's all I got as far as news and notes for the Eagles and the Buccaneers. What do you guys think? Put any thoughts you have in the comments section below. We also have live streams on our channel on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern each week during the offseason. Come hang out, come discuss any dynasty topics or any other general topics you want. Till then, this is Nick Payne with Facemask Fantasy. Thanks for listening.